Hello, everybody. Welcome to another very special episode of Carlton People. It's been a while since we've done one, and I thought this would be a really good guest to get on board because you may not recognize him. You should recognize him, but if you don't, it's because you haven't seen much of him. It's because you listen to him every week on the Almost Blues Brothers podcast. I've got Daniel with me. Brother, we've made it. We've made it.
We're here. It was a long time organising this one, Tez, wasn't it?
Look, Tuesday night happened to be the best night to do it, and the main thing is we're here.
I think everyone watching this episode here are going to probably remember my face more from cartoon because that's what it's like on the front of their Almost Blues Brothers episode previews.
No, absolutely, mate. Well, I actually like the fact that you've done a good chunk of episodes. I think it's 26 now.
Yeah.
26 episodes now. So you've done a good quarter of a century of episodes, and now we get to finally meet you, properly. So why don't we just start how we always start? How did you become a Carlton supporter? Like, where does it all really begin for you?
Oh, well, you need to listen to episode 1 of the Almost Blues Brothers, mate.
Okay.
How it started was, my family's pretty much all Bulldogs, everyone, apart from my grandfather. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, again, my uncle, when I was little, father's a super stubborn man, very stubborn. So he's giving me Carlton scarf. He's taking me to Princess Park. My uncle's taken me to Bulldogs games, but then tragically my grandfather passed away, and then that's what made me make the decision to go, I'm Carlton through and through. And from there, it's been ever since. So I've got to thank him for it. We haven't seen too much. I haven't seen any success.
No.
I was very little when we were successful, but I think just being part of the Blues, I think we're a family, aren't we?
We are. Right. I think the pod Almost Blues Brothers, it really relates not just to the three of you or the four of you now. But I think it's to everyone. Like, everyone who listens to you guys are part of your family, and we have that common bond. And I think it's great. And I feel like I asked that question to everyone, and generally it's the same sort of story. It's either a family member passes it down, or whatever, the family passes it down, or whatever the case may be. But there's always something that differentiates each story, and I think it's beautiful.
Mate, for me, honestly, like, meeting Jules and Joe from when I was little, and even the Pisano's, other family friends of mine who might be listening, I don't know, hopefully.
They will be.
But they'll be watching. But they ended up taking me to the games because no one in my family wanted to go, or no one supported Carlton bar my nonno. So I was privileged. I was like sort of a tag along. I was like an adopted son to those families.
He'd be rapt that you continued on the tradition.
Oh yeah, I know.
It could have gone the other way. It sounds like it could have been very close for you to not have been a supporter.
Like I said, my uncle and my grandfather, two very stubborn people. And even now, my uncle calls me when Carlton lose. Every single game that Carlton lose, he'll give me a buzz and he'll go, "Should have gone for the doggies." Without a lie, every single time.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, for me, my biggest thing as to why I love, again, we haven't seen success. We've seen more downs and ups, but the family aspect, like I mentioned, is what I love about this club, and is why when we do see that success, it's just going to be the best feeling ever. It really is.
I get goosebumps thinking about what it could be.
So do I. I just got goosebumps now just saying it, because you can picture it, can't you?
I picture it every day, honestly, even though we're in the midst of struggles and just disappointments and almost and what ifs. I think whenever I do think about that day and like, what are you going to do after the siren sounds and like the 3/4 time jitters and all of that, that's really what keeps us going. Like,
we've watched back in the day, I've watched games of back in the day, and you can see it, and you hear, like, say for example, like, Jules' old man or people that have gone for Carlton and have seen success, you can see the way they talk about it and how rapt they were and how the atmosphere. And I keep saying that they think every other supporters are loud. Once we get going and when we have our moment, we're going to take over. You can see us just like we're all itching. Yeah.
We're a sleeping giant, but
Oh, mate.
until then, here we are.
I know. Until then, we just got to talk shit.
Yeah. So how far back does your memory go? Like, is it like a flash? Do you remember a game, Princess Park? Like, what's your first earliest memory?
I actually wanted to talk about Princess Park. Well, Princess Park for me is my earliest memory.
Okay.
Because it was I only went to one game with my nonno, and it was there. And then because he passed away when I was really little. So for me, that's a big memory going there with him. But yeah, mate, like I think we lost our identity when we left Princess Park. I don't know if you agree with that, but I feel as though that there was our fortress. That was our place where you're coming to us, you're coming into our territory, we're going to nail you. Yeah. Like, and you can see like teams like Geelong, they still have that. And you can see the record. You go, or even you go into state to say, for example, to, Optus Stadium in Perth, for example, with what West Coast, like
same thing.
It adds something for opposing teams to come there, and you can see the success rate of Geelong, for example, at home. I really was shattered when we did leave there, and part of me wants to go back. Hey,
even just for one game a year, like it's a bit of
I agree.
hit, but is finance everything? Is it really everything? You know,
I think for the supporters, no, you're right. I think for the supporters, like winning is everything. Hey, like
that's what the club is like. It's so interesting because you and I come from the losing generation, and really we're holding on to this story that we were told about the previous generation, and the history books will show that we were winners. It's so funny how we carry this torch, but we haven't seen the torch actually light up. And like I know that Princess Park was the home of us, and it was our special place. And I'm very jealous that Geelong have it, and Sydney have it, and Adelaide have it, and the Perth teams have it. But like, what do you do?
No, exactly right. That's what we're handled with now. You mentioned earliest memory for me, and don't ask me why, but the 99 loss in the granny is something has just always stuck in my mind. I remember Wayne Carey lifting that trophy, and I was just crying, mate. I just couldn't. I just was inconsolable. And for me, that's one of my earliest memories. It was. And like I said, well, the prelim was just something different as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. When are you born?
Me, 92.
92. Yeah. So I'm 91. So we're pretty much the same age.
Yeah, we're the same.
Seeing the same things. Who are your heroes? Your favorite players growing up?
Oh, for me, Bradley.
Okay. Oh, I like it.
Absolute, mate. That guy there. If you want to know about pinning a pass, that you watch him. It's plain and simple. I reckon he hit everyone up without fail. Like, he was just clean as. Obviously, Cooter. Loved Cooter. And Simo.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, I haven't had anyone say Bradley yet, which is good, because I remember Bradley as the work rate. Like, we talk about Sam Walsh in 2021, and we talk about his work rate. I remember Bradley had that work rate, and he would pinpoint anybody.
It was for me, it was someone that I just, like I said, I've watched games like of previously, and for me, like, he was just another level. I think that whole side, they just had something. Like, they just had something about them where, like I said, they had the intensity, all these things that you need a premiership side to have. That group and crop of players just had it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, they knew how to win games. They were talented. They were, you know what? They were animals, and they were a unit. Plain and simple.
Yeah, they were. The club. That was the club. That was the great club. I think
our current side in patches, I see it.
Yeah.
I actually see it.
Yeah.
And that's what gives me hope for next year after. But then there's moments where I just think, where even are we? It just baffles me how I can see two different Carltons in one game. Like, You know?
We're like the Melbourne weather. We can look like 4 different seasons in one game. It's fascinating.
And there's no point predicting it because you're not going to get it right.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, all right, we get to the 90s and we get to 2000s. What do you remember about rebuild number 1? We'll call it.
Fuck. Oh, mate. I just think
did you have a black period, 2002, 2003, 2004? Because I've got a blank part in my memory.
I do. The only thing that makes me get up in the morning in that period was Feb.
Yeah, fair.
Mate, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, everything else was... And you know what? To be fair, I loved Carazzo at the time.
Well, he played with the spirit, you know?
He did. Yeah. Yeah. And, Simo was coming through. That he was young then. But, yeah, for me, it was just to see what Fev's going to do. Like, some of the goals... Or I'll say to the boys, like, you literally just need to go on YouTube, type in Brendan Favola, and you'll see all you need to see. Like, he was just this absolute marvel. And, like I said, I think the games that he won off his own boot were inspirational. There was one against Adelaide, I remember. Was it 214?
204 at Adelaide?
204, sorry.
Yeah.
What did I say? 214.
214. He was
204. Yeah. 204. And then another game against Essendon. And then the one against Collingwood where he kicked 4 in the last quarter. He kicked 8 in total.
Mm-hmm.
Something special. Something we won't see for a very long time.
Well, Fev's one of those rare guys. He wasn't just a vibe like he was. Fev was an era. Like it was the Favola era. And I remember, and you're right, we haven't had anyone like him where you turn up, maybe Sam Walsh is becoming that, where you turn up and you say, I know what I'm going to get, even if he doesn't play his best, but like I know if he marks the ball 45 out, he's going to kick a goal.
Mate, 100%. Like I said, that game against Adelaide, I think he scored the winner on the boundary. Was it on the boundary?
It was.
Yeah, on the left side. Absolutely nailed it. So, like I said, from what he does, what he did was inspirational for me. The only person now that brings that is Sammy Walsh.
He does. We're going to get to the current crop for sure. But what are some of the standout like games that you've been to in your life or days? I mean, the 2013 finals obviously special to all of us who are our age. And that gets brought up a lot. Do you have any other random games that you recall that were just special days for whatever reason?
Oh, mate, I reckon I remember more losses. I reckon I turned up to more losses.
Even if they're losses, honestly, even if they're losses, because that's part of the story.
Oh, mate, just trying to think. Oh, I'd have to say what would burn me the most is our losses against Collingwood.
Yeah, man.
That was probably the biggest thing, our losses against Collingwood.
Yeah, they always hurt. They always hurt.
Yeah, that hurt the most. Having to leave a stadium with their smug look on all their faces, just for me, that was probably the biggest thing.
Do you hate Collingwood more or Essendon more?
Collingwood, because my missus goes for her as well and her family.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine
How's that? What's the luck in that?
I've got a really good mate of mine who's a Carlton supporter, and his partner's family are all Collingwood. And he's told me about times where he's watched games with the family, and I can only imagine you've done that as well.
Oh, mate. It's bad. It's bad. Like, well, the thing is, I'm starting to convert my missus a little bit to Carlton now, because how's this? I don't know how this works, but she used to go for Carlton, and now she's Collingwood, but she's got a Carlton membership. So,
well, what's her name?
Lauren.
Listen, Lauren.
Sort it out.
We need to have a conversation. This arrangement of turning to Collingwood needs to come to a close, and we're welcoming you back to the football club. Thank you.
To the family.
Yep, that's right. We haven't turned on you. We'll bring you back in, but enough of this silliness.
You know what, Tez? One of my best memories was going to Princess Park as well, as a kid, or even as a teenager. I remember me, Jules, and Joe would go. Was Joe? No, Joe wasn't involved in that. But me and Jules would go, and we'd go watch them train. Then we'd wait for ages after their session to then obviously just catch a glimpse of anyone, you know. It was we were pretty mad, but it was good times.
Yeah, I remember. It's kind of changed now because we're getting to that 30-year-old bracket where, for the most part, we're now older than the players. But I remember like the hero complex, and they had an aura about them. And I don't know if it was because we were just younger than them, or if it was because they were just really great players. Like, I mean, there's only really a few of them now who, if I see them, I'm like, whoa, like that's. I don't really feel that too much with them. I'm sure when they become premiership players, it'll change.
Oh, definitely. But like I said, I remember like Ange Christou and Kuda, seeing them. I just thought, who are these absolute giants?
Yeah.
You're thinking, who are these giants? But I think as we get older, we see them in a different light. But again, like if I see Charlie Curnow, I'd be, I'll be in awe.
I think Charlie's got it. I think Cripps has got
Charlie's got it. Walsh has got it. Weeders has got it.
Yeah. For sure. What's your take on like the whole club as a whole? I mean, as at the time of recording this, we're 6-10 going into the Collingwood game, the rematch for 2021. So we're going to be watching this many years later. But in this point in time, the rebuild number 2, we'll call it. I don't know. What are your thoughts overall about what's happening?
Well, listen, like I said to you, like rebuild number 1 for me was an absolute shambles. Okay. What we're doing now, what's that?
Why is that?
Oh, I just think, I just look at clubs like Geelong, for example, and the way they've gone about like they've never ever had like a massive lull like we have. Like when's it been our last, was it 26 years since our last silverware?
Longest drought in our club's history. 26
years, mate. Like I just think you've gotten something wrong there. If there's that much of a drought, and I think, well, because we did a massive clean out. How many players did we get rid of? It was like 44 players or something.
That was over 3 years, from 2000.
Over 3 years.
15, 16, 17, 44 players.
I don't know. Like, I just think there's probably a different way of doing it that I've seen other clubs do it. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with it. And also in the change of coaches, like bringing in Malthouse for me, I don't know if it's controversial to say this, but I think it was absolute waste of time. I think it was just, in my opinion, why we got rid of Brett Ratton was beyond me. I can't understand that. I still to this day cannot understand it.
Yeah. Do you think it was impatience?
100%, without a doubt. I think there was an unrealistic expectation as to where we're at based on the result or based on what Ratton had done. And they'd gone, okay, we're in a position to make finals. Let's go win it, or let's go, mate. You know what I mean? Let's really push. But I think, look at every successful club. The coach has been there for a long stint. Yeah? That's why with what we're doing now, I think we need to keep Teague. I think he's still got a lot of learning to do. And I think under him, he's got to have those experienced, and you know what? He's got to have winners around him, people that have won things, because then that goes around the culture of the club as well.
Yeah.
Right? What the board are doing is what the board are doing. But I feel as though with, in respect to like the coaches and the players, we need to change the culture of the club. Yeah.
So who drives that? Where does that start from? And who drives that?
Well, you can see with what the board have done, they've obviously made the club financially stable and successful. Yeah. Now we're in a quite a good position. But I think that winning culture has to start from higher head coach, assistant coaches. It has to start from there. It has to. Like I said, we've got an inexperienced head coach, but then bring in people under him, like I said, that have won things or know how to win things. Yeah. Like as a player or coach.
Yeah.
Because then that will flood to the players, because then the players are looking upon that experience to help them through moments and situations.
Yeah. There's been a bit of criticism around, we're focusing on the redevelopment and whatnot. I don't know. I like the redevelopment because I think that actually sets us up for decades to come, because I'm not sure what the facilities are going to look like once this is all done. But if that gives us the opportunity to maybe host a game in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been a case of, well, let's be honest, Princess Park, it's very old, the wooden seats. If you're going to want to host a game there, you're going to need proper seats. You're going to need a ticketing system.
Yeah, you're going to have to revamp it a bit.
So I'm with you. I'm not sure if that has come at the expense of winning games on the field. I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
I do like the whole stat and the notion of, well, we aren't getting blown out anymore, because you remember 2018, obviously, mate. Look, that was demoralizing.
Oh, it was. It was actually depressing.
Yeah.
That whole year, it really was. And like the thing I'm liking what I'm seeing is because there's improvement year to year. This year as well, it doesn't seem like, I think we had, again, this year, unrealistic expectations as to where we're at. I would have preferred us, instead of saying, yep, we're going to make finals, I would have preferred, yep, we're going to win as many games as possible, because then there's not as much expectation on the playing group to want to do that. Yeah. Not if you need to understand where you're at first to make statements like that, in my opinion.
It's so interesting. It's like chicken and the egg, because if you don't believe you to expect it, how can you achieve it? And then if you underbelieve, I don't know. It's like, do you underpromise and overdeliver, or in this case, we've overpromised and clearly underdelivered.
Undelivered, yeah.
I just don't know what comes first. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the belief in something comes first before you can achieve it. There's just so many questions when we talk about what's happening, isn't there?
Well, it's hard because we've been through so much heartache, so we're trying to work out what the right solution is to get us rolling. But like I said, for me, I see more positives at the moment than I do negatives.
Okay.
With this playing group, I really do. I think, like I said, week to week, I can see improvement from things that 18 months ago, 12 months ago, 6 months ago, I was going, oh my God, we're here. Yeah, we're at a state where I can't see us improving. So we've fixed those things. And the playing group himself, I think with the spine that we've got, I think that's a huge, like Weeders, Walsh, Mackay, teams be envious to have something like that.
Yeah, for sure. To build around.
Yeah,
for sure.
You got to build around someone, like players like that. I think we have to trust in the playing group, because like I said, they've got it. It's just we don't put together 4 quarters worth of footy to be able to see our games.
So are you in the school of thought that we need to bring in some more gun players, or do you think it's a little bit more about settle the list, another year of internal investment and consistency, and so, because I think, as far as I can remember, off season is Carlton's finals. It's all right, who are we bringing in? Let's go. Like there's always a recruit, and
there's always that joke, Terry, of like off seasons is when Carlton supporters are the most happiest.
Yeah.
We're at our happiest when the season's not going. So I don't think so. I don't think we need to go recruit. I think the list that we've got is good enough. I think we need to trust in players like Matt Kennedy, Owies, Dow, Stocker. These players here, you can see if you give them the opportunity, they'll deliver. But I feel as though the frustration comes again from the false expectation of we should have made finals, because you're already giving these kids a disadvantage to really flourish. Yeah,
it's interesting. No, it's very interesting. We might be putting too much pressure on the current crop, who are almost feeling the punishment of the history of the past, because we're just so fed up with where we're at. It's so hard, isn't it,
mate? Like I said, I've seen enough potential in this group that I can see us winning something in. Again, I said before 30, but that's 2 years. I can see 3-4 years if we get it right.
Yeah.
If it all clicks. Like, look at Melbourne. Melbourne was shambles last year. They were going to get rid of Goodwin.
Like everyone's got their, what's the term? Like their tipping point. So at what point for you does it become about patience, 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 and then, okay, enough's enough now, time to execute? Like, when does that come? Is it next year, year after?
For me, it's next year.
As in, yeah, like, so 2022 finals is
2022, we need
make.
to make top 8.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be thinking, okay, it's going to be another 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you agree with that, but for me, this year here, like, I think we got it wrong with, don't get me wrong, Zach Williams is a great player. But I think we got it wrong with the way in which we recruited him and why we recruited him. Because for me, he's not a midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, he'll play off half back now. Let's get Kennedy, Dow. Let's build that chemistry between Cripper, Walsh, Kennedy, Dow. Let's get that going. Let's get games between them, and let's see what they can do next year.
Yeah, I like that. Who's your, like, do you have, everyone's got like a boy or a girl, like whoever you watch playing, as in like their personal favorite? Is there like an up and comer that maybe doesn't get mentioned as much as the Walshes that you think is going to really thrive in a couple of years?
Oh, for me, I love Nick Newman.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think for what he does in the back line, he again, inset mark. He's very, very smart footballer. And I think he adds that, again, for me, Simo is just class above.
Yeah.
And I think we're really missing someone like that. But I think Newey's the closest to filling that role that Simo played in the back line. I really rate Nick Newman, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the time off that he had with the injury, like you can really see it's funny, like you never want to see anyone injured, but he looks like someone that's come back and really watching the game and understanding the game a little bit better and smarter, and his positioning, I think, is improved.
Oh, definitely. Like, the other one's Sam Walsh. Like, I think because he's so good, we bypass him.
It's unfair.
Like, you're going to say Sam Walsh because he's just unbelievable. But you can't go past him. You have to say him. Yeah. I said it to the boys. I don't think we'll see another player like him in a very long time.
Yeah. Not from the outset, the way he's improved year on, year out in his first couple
of
years.
Mate. Yeah. He's miles ahead. Even of his draft, he's miles ahead of any of those players.
Yeah. And it was a genuine conversation. Like, they were pretty much, it was hard to split, but he has soared past them now.
I think like we did with Fev back in the day, we need to watch this kid and just admire what he does. You know how you're speaking about Bradley's work rate? Walsh has got it.
Yeah.
Walsh has got it. You can't, you know what? He copped a tag a couple of weeks ago, still got 25 touches.
Yeah.
Sarong tried to go with him against Freo when we played against Freo. They had to change it up because you can't run with him.
He's a special one.
Know?
He is
very special.
I think you're right as well. I mean, touch wood, we hope Charlie's at the overall these injuries, and even if we just get him, maybe not, who knows what his projection is right now. I don't know because I haven't seen him play yet. But Harry and Charlie, together with, Wiedering down back and Walsh in the middle, and, you talk about Tom de Koning as your ruckman.
He's another one I'm very excited about.
Yeah, yeah.
His athleticism is,
I reckon that one of the biggest criticisms of us before we started this rebuild was, where's the spine at? Like, where is it? We didn't have a bona fide forward. I guess Jamo was the backman in that era back then.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was coming towards the end. We had, all right, Murphy, Gibbs, and Cruiser. But now I really do believe that we are much better set up than what we were. And that's the main thing, I think.
Like, the foundations are there for something great. I just feel as though it's going to take something to click.
Yeah.
And that's going to be every single player and the coaching staff coming together with the same. You got to be aligned in every way for it to really work.
Yeah. I like to ask a couple of questions to everyone before I let them go. The first one is, if you could pick any player from another team, irrespective of salary cap, who would best fit into this group?
Oh, mate. Too many to choose from.
Yeah.
Listen, is this with Charlie Curnow back is this with Charlie? Because he plays this week in the VFL. So we'll say, because listen, I think with Charlie Curnow back in our side, we become very, very different team.
Yeah.
Because you got Mackay and him to worry about.
Yes.
And that's a headache. Mackay's a headache on his own.
Yes.
Let alone Curnow. So I haven't been trying to get too invested about Curnow, but now I am starting to. So I'm going to say that Curnow's involved.
Okay.
All right? Okay. In my opinion, I feel as though we need someone like a Bont.
A Bont, mate. You can never go wrong with a Bont.
You know what? Someone that I think we need someone in that midfield to complement Cripper, Walsh. Yeah, another body in there, but then can also go forward and kick too.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah, he definitely can do that.
Because Cripper contested, unbelievable. Yeah? You'll notice Bont isn't as contested, but he gets around the ground a lot easier. Yeah, and he kicks goals. So I think someone like that would be sensational.
I love it. I love that.
How's this? I'll turn the question on you. Who do you think?
So who do I think? I think who would I have from any other club? I would say Josh Kelly. I think we lack a bona fide wingman. And I would be looking at someone like a Josh Kelly, put him on the wing. You know, he's going to get, 25. He's going to run all day.
Yeah.
And so, like the Kelly Whitfield type. The only thing is I don't really want us to get him because I'm done with this whole GWS complex that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've milked it enough with them, I think.
We have. The last one is everyone that comes on picks the year that they believe we're going to win the flag. So based on where you think we're at, like what's the year? What's the magic year you think we lift actually like are raging down Lygon Street? What's the year?
Oh, don't put the idea in my head. Like I said, I've always said I want to see a premiership before I'm 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 28 now, 2 years' time, 2023. But being realistic, in my opinion, it's one more year than that.
Yeah. 2024. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 2024.
I like it. Well, mate, I've enjoyed this. It's gone by really quickly, and that's always
a sign.
Yeah, it's always a sign of a good episode. Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen the Almost Blues Brothers, please go and check them out on the podcast network, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. Mate, it's been a pleasure to have you part of it all. I hope you're enjoying it. Love having you a part of it.
Thank you, Tez. Me and the boys, we cannot tell you how much we look forward to doing it every week. It's just, this is the thing, with the Almost Blues Brothers, we were doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We would call each other after the game and just literally ramble on for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours about the game. Then the next day when we're driving to work, same thing. So to be able to now share our opinions to everyone it's pretty cool. And then show a bit of our personality as well, make us laugh. And yeah.
I think so too. I think also as well, I always talk about the future and your kids one day will be able to listen to, imagine that, your kids will be and your grandkids will be able to listen to the three of you talk. I just think it's something that doesn't get thought about enough.
No, but I might be a little bit embarrassed. I didn't realize that capsicum had a M at the end. I always used to call it capsicum. So yeah. I think my kids are going to think, Daddy, you an idiot.
Well, the kids are going to find out all of your learning lessons and all the fines you've had along the way.
Mate, honestly, I just want to see us be successful. Like I said, I said this club brings me just so many different emotions in 1 year, and for my whole life. And it's brought me despair, it's brought me joy. It just brings me everything. And for me, I just love to be able to celebrate it with all of you and with everyone, and just really show the football world what Carlton Football Club is, and bring it back to our glory days. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, well said. Our generation needs it, deserves it, and I'm sure that they're all working as hard as they can towards it. Well, I hope they are. And mate, I look forward to chatting a little bit more with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, mate.
Legend.